We'll start with invocation prayer Sahana Bhavatu.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 10. We'll chant from verse number 21 to 27.
आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसाम् वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम् पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Last week we concluded with verse number 20. I am the self, O Gudakesha or Arjuna, seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. So when Krishna is addressing, I'm just recapping, Arjuna as Gudakesha, it literally means one who has conquered his sleep, a dynamic, proactive person, someone who is willing to put efforts, who is consistent, who is proactive. So it's an implication, there is a message for all of us that spiritual progress is a lot of hard work. You cannot delegate your efforts to somebody. So we all are health conscious. Most of us are health conscious. So you cannot delegate your exercise to someone. You may hire a personal trainer, but you can't tell him, sir, please do my exercise. End of the day, you need to do exercise. You could be health conscious, but then you can't tell others, you eat healthy food, I will eat all junk food. So it's a lot of efforts. So similarly, spiritual evolution, if you want to become a better human being, you need to put efforts. A lazy person cannot become a better human being. He or she cannot progress spiritually. Some of you are attending our Wednesday discussion forums. They will know what I'm talking about. 45 minutes, 1 hour, you discuss. First of all, somebody will ask a question. Then the group will try to understand the question. So just to frame a question, it may take 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes it may even take half an hour. So it is a lot of hard work. So you have to be consistent in your spiritual path in order to grow. So that quality in a seeker he is highlighting. And then he says, I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. So last week we discussed this in detail, that everything, all the beings, they come from Supreme Reality, they exist in Supreme Reality, and they merge back into the Supreme Reality. So we often give example of ocean and the waves, isn't it? So all the waves, they arise from the ocean. They exist in the ocean, whatever is their duration of life, and they merge back into the ocean. So in reality, wave never separated from the ocean. So what is true identity of any wave? It may be a small wave, it may be a huge wave. So what is its identity, true identity?
The ocean.
The ocean. So similarly, Godhood or supreme reality, divinity, is our true identity. There was no separation, it's not possible. But right now we believe that we have separated from the supreme reality. It's not possible. Why it is not possible? Because it is all pervading. It exists in all periods of time. So there is no other thing which exists apart from supreme reality. So how can you and I not be that supreme reality? So therefore we say Godhood or divinity is our true identity. So these were the main points we discussed in verse number 20 last week. So are there any questions from this verse? All right, 21 please.
आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि.
Translation. Of Adityas I am Vishnu. Of luminaries the radiant sun. I am Marichi of Maruts. Of asterisms I am the moon. See, you must understand the backdrop of Krishna's answer. In verse number 12, rather from 12 to 18, Arjuna wants to know very supreme reality. So from 19 onwards, Krishna is answering that line of thought one by one. But I am in this, I am in that. But the interesting psychology is he is pointing out best of manifestation. See, supreme reality is everywhere. Even the smallest expression is nothing but supreme reality. Even the tiniest wave is nothing but ocean. But he is talking about like massive waves. So why Krishna is doing that? Because average person needs a grand, massive manifestation or expression to become inspired by the concept of divinity, isn't it? See, if we say supreme reality is in the pen, supreme reality is in the paper, supreme reality is in the pin, I mean, it's true that nobody is going to get inspired by that. So therefore, he is using the best of manifestations, and the average person needs that, something massive. If you see Niagara Falls, I mean, what is the general reaction? Even people who are like, caught up, worldly people, materialistic people, like disturbed by and large. So when you go and see Niagara Falls, especially that horseshoe, you know what I'm talking about. Thousands of people they congregate, at that, because you can literally from 10 feet, you can see that water flowing, that is where it starts. It falls. So what's the general reaction? Everybody says, wow, wow, Or if you see Mount Everest, what is the reaction? Or if you go to Grand Canyons, what is the reaction? So even a person who is not spiritual, relatively speaking, when he sees something huge, there is a thought of divinity. That's the psychology. And that applies in all aspects of life. See, if you have a weak eyesight, you need large letters, If your hearing is not good, if your hearing is impaired, you need a large sound. If you lack love, you need more expressions of love. In a relationship, you find out. Your spouse has to remember wedding anniversary. Your spouse has to remember your birthday. She has to honey you or sugar you, all the time. Then only you feel reassured. Yes, all is well. She loves me. He loves me. But in a true relationship where there is genuine identification with each other, especially the older generation, they may not even talk to each other. I mean, once in a while. But beautiful relationship. So when you lack love, you need more expression. When your eyesight is weak, you need large letters. When your intellect is not that developed, lot of repetition is required. So similarly, whoever is not evolved spiritually, relatively speaking, such a person needs huge expression, the best of expression of divinity. So therefore, he is giving the best manifestations. You understand the psychology. But as you evolve spiritually, even a small expression or manifestation is enough to remind you of divinity. How pomegranate is packed. I mean, it's a miracle, isn't it? I know nobody likes to peel a pomegranate, de-seed the pomegranate, but I mean, today we can experiment, You have to see the divinity. There is that outer case, first of all. Inside that, there is a soft membrane, isn't it? And again, that soft membrane, inside of that soft membrane is all hexagon. And in that, all these seeds, what they call aerials, right? Am I using the correct word? Aerials. That is where the actual juice is packed. So even a small expression is enough for you to think of divinity and get inspired. But there are people, even if they see a grand manifestation, they are so wrapped up in their personality. Can anybody answer that question? It's a very simple question. See, you and I may go to Niagara Falls and anywhere, Grand Canyon or any place. Most people, they are inspired, they drop everything and they start, oh wow, But there are set of people, even when they are face to face with grand manifestation, or it could be you go on a pilgrimage, you are in front of an idol, you spend days together to go on that pilgrimage, you are face to face with the divinity. But there are set of people, what they do. So it is psychology I'm trying to express. We're not saying that we are superior, they are inferior. That's not a point. But there are set of people, even when they visit any grand manifestation, they're totally wrapped up in their personality by and large. See, when you see, let's say, Niagara Falls, to explain the concept, there is that momentary inspiration. Even person who is not spiritual, at least for the time being, it could be few minutes, he thinks of divinity. So what is the psychology there? You say, wow, wow. It's not difficult to understand the psychology.
They are involved in the worldly thing more than the focusing on the thing.
No, my question is, when you see Niagara Falls, you say, wow. All of us will say, wow. That's my question right now, current question. You are still lingering in the previous question. It's a psychology. It's not philosophy. It's quite simple to understand. What is happening to us internally? Even to go ahead with your question, somebody who is relatively wrapped up in his or her personality, for those few minutes, everybody says, wow, wow. So what is that wow? What is that psychology behind that? Is the question.
Of the peace within.
Sorry?
It's a glimpse of the peace within.
Mm-hmm.
It makes us realize that how small we are in comparison to, the
Excellent.
magnanimous microphones.
Excellent. 10 out of 10 marks for Uncle Vasudeva. See, it's a momentary dissolution of an ego. That's what is happening. Otherwise, we are constantly thinking about, I, my. But when you go there, so you stand aghast, oh my God, wow. So you understand how little you are. Automatically it is happening. So it is dissolution of ego for the time being. But then there are people, even when they go to Niagara Falls, personally I have seen famous pilgrimage. Somebody had taken me to a temple last year, this is the best temple you must visit and all that. So I was admiring that. It's a very ancient temple and old idol, made of stone, thousands of year old temple. So the person who took me there, he was busy taking his selfie. He hardly saw. So if to that extent you are involved in your personality, see, even in the grand expression, you will be busy thinking about yourself. You get the psychology. But that is, it's not that common. Maybe 5% people, 10% people, they are wrapped up in their personality. So that's the psychology. So therefore, he keeps on pointing out Krishna, I'm in this, I'm in that. He mentions the best of manifestations. But the truth is, supreme reality is everywhere. Even the most negative expression in the world is nothing but the expression of supreme reality. But we can't talk like that. I mean, who will be inspired? I'm in the serial killer, I'm in the terrorist, I'm in the person who beats his wife, or I'm in the woman who keeps shouting at her husband. I mean, what are we discussing? But it is also the expression of supreme reality, whether we like it or not. But nobody will be inspired because they say, okay, enough, we don't want to study Bhagavad Gita. So that's the psychology. 22, please.
वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना.
Of Vedas, I am Samaveda. Of gods, I am Vasava. Of senses, I am the mind. And of all living beings, I am consciousness. Chetana. Chetana means consciousness. See, why saying I am Samaveda? There are 4 Vedas, most of you must be aware. Samaveda, Yajurveda, Rigveda, and Atharvan. So these 4 Vedas, they were compiled by sage Vyasa. And each Veda has got Upanishad. So they are scattered. There are 200 plus Upanishads. They are scattered in all these 4 Vedas. And Upanishad is the source of Vedanta philosophy. Most of you are aware, but I am repeating in the context. So he's saying, I am Samaveda of Vedas. So Samaveda is famous for very soothing and sweet psalms. So it's nothing but they are praising the divinity there. But the way it is chanted, the meter, if you listen to traditional people chanting Samaveda, is very, very soothing. It has that effect. So therefore, he's saying, I am Samaveda of all the Vedas. I am the mind of the senses. See, why he says, why I am the mind of the senses? Because our senses are controlled by the mind. See, there are 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action. We all know that. So they are part of the physical body, part of the gross body. But the controlling aspect of organs of perception and organs of action, they are in the subtle body, they are in the mind. It's like hardware and software. Hardware is this gross body, this physical body. But the software controls the hardware, isn't it? So therefore, when mind is disturbed, all physiological functions, they are affected. Stress. Stress is a condition of mind, but the effect is on the body. It may affect your digestion, you may have heart ailments. You can go on multiplying examples. So therefore, he says, I am the mind of the senses. So I repeat, when mind is disturbed, all physiological functions are affected. Why? Why are they affected? Because the controlling aspect of organs of perception and organs of action. There are 5 organs of perception, we all know that. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and there are 5 organs of action. So all these functions, the sense centers are in the mind. They are not in the physical body. Mind is nothing but subtle body. So therefore, when you are mentally disturbed, your entire body goes haywire. If you are too anxious, then you may not be able to concentrate. Like the student gets very anxious, right? It's a mental state, it's a mental condition. And when that student is writing the exam, he may not be able to write. Your hand may start shivering. No, I'm giving you a simple example. So therefore, he says, I'm the mind of all the senses. It's a simple concept. Therefore, the focus has to be on calming the mind. See, that's what people they don't understand. People believe that doing exercise they can conquer the mind, especially those who teach yoga. This is their basic teaching. So we also do yoga. Every day I do yoga, at least for 30 minutes to 40 minutes. It is an amazing exercise, yoga. Very, very scientific, But 99% of yoga teachers, they will try to convince you that by doing yoga, you control your mind. Somebody shared some yoga video with me. I mean, it's good that yoga, what they're doing is excellent. But then I decided to discontinue their membership. I'm not getting into the details, but I don't want to listen to that wrong teaching. It's not going to affect me, but every session, 2-3 minutes, they give you a lecture. Okay, we are doing this exercise so that end of the day, we control our mind. It's other way around. You control the mind, you got the health. Because the sense centers are in the mind. So it is subtle which controls the gross. Gross can never control the subtle. So focus has to be on calming your mind. And how do you calm your mind? How do you make it agitations free? How do you make it agitation free? The mind.
Getting rid of your desires, meditating.
By reducing your desires. How do you reduce your desires? By 3 spiritual practices, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. There is no other way. So when you offload your desires, or to the extent you start offloading your desires, to that extent your mind is calm. In best and worst of circumstances, if you have a calm mind, that is your true test of spiritual evolution. So therefore he says, I am the mind of the senses. I am Chetana, I am consciousness of all living beings. So what makes you conscious of any object or being is nothing but supreme reality. All of you are aware of this concept. What makes you here is God. What makes you think is God. What makes you feel various emotions is God. Without God principle, body, mind, intellect cannot function. Without electricity, no electrical gadget can function. So therefore, electricity is saying, I am the consciousness, that light-giving principle in all the gadgets. It's a simple concept. We have discussed it a number of times, but if you have any question, feel free to ask towards the end. Verse number 23, please.
रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वृत्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम् रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वृत्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम्
Translation. And of Rudras I am Shankara, Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas, like demons. Of Vasus I am Pavaka, and of mountains I am Meru. So we're going to discuss only the main points here, but you can read Swamiji's commentary in the book if somebody is really interested to go to the nitty-gritty of everything, which is not required, by the way. So when he says, I am Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas, so Yakshas and Rakshasas, they're like demonic people. So there is no such race called as demon race. And this is what you need to understand. Right? Lord of the Rings, what is that small creature? Hobbits. Hobbits, right? So there is no such species called as Yaksha and Rakshasa. It means people who run after wealth, people who are self-centered, sometimes they are selfish at the cost of others. So you and I could be those people. So is that quality? So who is their CEO? Who is their head? Vittesha, he is better known as Kubera. Kubera is god of wealth. Now, how he became god of wealth is through his penance. For years and years, he did penance and he acquired all the wealth in the world. So that shows that qualities. If you are obsessed with wealth, you can acquire wealth. But also, Kubera is described as an ugly creature. He was a goblin. Ugliest man you can imagine. I'm not getting into the details, but that is how they describe him. Like huge, like belly, protruding teeth, bald. He was a dwarf. You can go on imagining. So he was a real ugly creature. But also, goddess of wealth is described as Lakshmi. It's interesting. God of wealth is Kubera. He is described as the ugly creature, he was a goblin. And also, goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, is described as a very virtuous and elegant lady. And she is married to Lord Vishnu. So he is talking about how you relate to wealth. Wealth per se cannot be beautiful, wealth per se cannot be ugly. It is a commodity which is necessary for sustenance. Without wealth, you cannot sustain anything. You cannot survive in this world. So if somebody says wealth is not required, that person does not know what he or she is talking. But there are people who say wealth is everything. And the whole life they spend in the pursuit of wealth. They become obsessive with wealth. They become possessive about their wealth. They have that greed. Enough is never enough. So whoever is victimized by this pursuit of wealth, your inner personality becomes ugly. So when your inner personality becomes ugly with wealth, when you have no higher values of life. Therefore, Oliver Goldsmith says, where wealth accumulates, men decay. What a statement he makes. Where wealth accumulates, men decay. And that hoarding, that obsession, that greed for wealth. And you will do anything to acquire wealth. So that attitude, that pursuit is ugly. That makes you ugly from inside. It degenerates your entire personality. Why it degenerates your entire personality? Because you don't have higher values of life given out by the scriptures. But any person who is established in this knowledge, and if that person acquires wealth, then your entire personality becomes beautiful. You will benefit yourself to begin with, and also you will benefit the whole world. So therefore, Goddess Lakshmi, she is married to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu symbolizes higher values of life. And wherever Lord Vishnu went, his consort, Goddess Lakshmi, followed. So wherever there are higher values, and when such a person acquires wealth, there is prosperity plus peace. Otherwise, you may have prosperity, but it will come with all sorts of mental ailments. The best example is we all live in America. The maximum mental ailments in the world, perhaps, I could be wrong, at least we are aware of it, is in this country. Everywhere people are talking about mental wellness, mental wellness, mental wellness. When we are the most prosperous nations as of now. So why, in spite of prosperity, all these mental ailments, they are afflicting every other person, if not everybody? So the wealth has become what? Ugly. Why wealth has become ugly? Why it is producing mental agitations? It is because of lack of higher values of life. Wealth per se has got nothing to do with our mental wellness. It per se cannot give you peace. But there are people who believe wealth can give peace or happiness. Therefore, that obsession with wealth starts. And why that obsession with wealth starts? Because of lack of higher values. So, therefore, god of wealth is Kubera. Also, the goddess of wealth is Lakshmi. You get the psychology behind it. So, it depends on how you relate to wealth. If you understand that one sentence, it is enough. "24, please.
पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः.
And of household priests, O Partha or Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of lakes, I am the ocean. So again, he is mentioning best of manifestation. Skanda was the very famous army personality. You can read in the book. I'm not getting into the details. He is also known as Lord Subramanya or Kartikeya, and Shammukha is the son of Lord Shiva, the foremost among the greatest generals. So it's a concept. I am the ocean of the lakes. So it's the largest body of water. So therefore, he's referring to ocean. Those who are from Michigan, they can say, I am the lake superior among the lakes. Then it rings the bell, And I am Brihaspati, the chief of household priests. Now, Brihaspati, he was a son of a famous sage, Angirasa. He was a historical personality, sage Angirasa. And Brihaspati was his son, illustrious son. He was also a saint. Now, Angirasa, he was a sage on earth. And his son Brihaspati was a preceptor of gods in heaven. See, it's a concept. And there is no place called as heaven. I mean, we keep on saying it's a mental state. So, father who is a sage on earth, his son is a preceptor of gods in heaven. So, therefore, we keep saying heaven is a mental state. Means to commute, Brihaspati. He will go to heaven, give discourse there, lecture series, come back, again spend time with his father. Again, next month he will go. So, it's to commute between heaven and earth. So, it's a mental state. A person, a peaceful person who is established in higher values. That is heaven. So, if you are peaceful, wherever you go, you carry that peace. See, that's the symbolism. So, you're carrying your heaven everywhere. But if you are not peaceful, wherever you go, it is hell. So, you go from place A to place B. If you're a peaceful person, you're peaceful in place A, also you'll be peaceful in place B. So, as far as you are concerned, you are in that peaceful state of mind throughout. So, that's the meaning behind that. And Brihaspati was the preceptor of gods, meaning if you are established in higher values, if you are a peaceful person, you are in the company of like-minded people. It's like fascinating. It's based on cause and effect. You will be in the company of righteous people all the time. You will be in the company of like-minded people. See, therefore, Shakespeare says, tell me who your friends are. I will tell you who you are. What a statement he makes. Tell me who your friends are. I will tell you who you are. If you are constantly in the company of people who are gambling, I'm not talking about once in a while. Constantly you're in the company of gamblers. Who are you? It doesn't need any explanation. If you are in the company of extroverted people all the time, I'm not talking about once in a while, all the time in the company of extroverted people, who are you? Look within. The answer is not outside. All the time you're in the company of people who are drinking or whatever nefarious activities happen. But if you are established in the higher values of the scriptures, see, this is how providence supports you, supports your spiritual growth. Slowly but surely, you will find yourself surrounded by like-minded people. So don't keep complaining. My environment is not conducive for my spiritual growth. It may be true, but who created that environment? It is based on cause and effect. It's a very subtle concept. Who created that environment, which is conducive or not conducive? Your own desires. So if your desires are worldly, if your desires are sensual, if your desires are selfish, you will find yourself in a conducive environment for to fulfill that particular desire, negative desire. But if you start purifying your personality with this knowledge, you will find yourself in a conducive environment which is conducive for your spiritual growth. And it's not easy to get good company, righteous company, conducive environment. It's not going to happen overnight. It requires months and months, years and years of efforts. And chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 59, he makes a fascinating statement. I repeat, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 59, 59. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. Sense objects, they turn away from a self-disciplined person. See, in verse number 57, 58, he talks about the importance of self-control, meaning how not to be indulgent. But then naturally people may ask, seeker may ask, yes, I am trying, but what if all these sense objects, they are constantly coming and they are tempting me, what to do? He says, no, it is not possible. If you are sincere, the sense objects will not come in your life. Negative company will, how can you be in a negative company? How can you be in the company of gamblers if you don't have a desire for gambling? Stick to that example. So he is highlighting law of cause and effect. So any spiritual seeker should feel inspired by that, isn't it? So he gives that assurance. Vishaya vini vartante niraharasya dehinaha. Sense objects turn away from an abstinent person. So that guarantee, that assurance is given to all of us. So therefore, you create conducive environment for your own spiritual growth. Or you don't create conducive environment for your spiritual growth based on your desires. If your desires are gross, if your desires are materialistic, if your desires are sensual, if your desires are extroverted, predominantly I am saying, you will find yourself in that company 24/7, whether you like it or not. The moment you start transforming your personality, all these negative aspects will go away from your environment. So therefore, the focus is on purifying your personality. You purify yourself, everything will be added on to you. That assurance he is giving. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 59. You can read that explanation, Swamiji's commentary, it's quite well explained. 25, please.
महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः.
Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of speech, I am the monosyllable Om. Of Yajna, I am Japayajna. Of immovables, I am Himalaya. So the sage Bhrigu was known for his selflessness. So forget about who was sage Bhrigu. I mean, none of us know. That quality of selflessness is important. Selflessness meaning there is no I, there is no my. There is no ego, there is no egocentric desires. You just do what you ought to do to the best of your ability, without polluting with I. At home, at work, as a seeker in the spiritual path, doesn't matter whatever you are doing. But ignorant people, that I follows everywhere, which spoils everything. So you need to be aware of that I. See, even in something positive, that I can follow you. Forget about negative. Last week, somebody had invited me to give a talk, very nice, devout people. 300, perhaps 400 people were there. And they asked me to speak on the subject, love to all, service to all. So what is that love to all, service to all? You can do that only when you conquer that I. Otherwise, it's not possible. And once you conquer that I, that ego, that egocentric desire, which perhaps pollutes all our actions unconsciously, only then you will be able to love all, serve all. That is the effect. Otherwise, it's not possible. Otherwise, even in best of circumstances, even in unselfish environment, you could be thinking about, I am who is serving. I want to do this. I want to do that. So Bhrigu was a great saint. He just did what he ought to do. No I, no my. So that quality should inspire us. Forget about whoever Bhrigu was. I am monosyllable of speech Om, and I am Japa Yajna of all the Yajnas. Now what we are going to do is we are going to read from Swamiji's book Vedanta treatise to understand what is this concept of Om, that symbol Om. Everybody knows Om, but what is the scientific reason behind Om? Why it is selected as Om as a symbol of supreme reality? Is nothing but a symbol. It's an idol. It's an idol which represents the ideal. Ideal is supreme reality. Om is not supreme reality. So it is called as a sound symbol. It's a very subtle symbol. So Charu and Jigar, they are going to read from Swamiji's book Vedanta treatise, chapter 14. In that, there is a topic called meditation. Or chapter 14 is called meditation. There's a topic called Om. So Charu and Jigar, can you read the whole thing? I think there are like 7 or 8 paragraphs. Yes. So ladies first. So I will ask Charu to read first. So unmute yourself, and Vijay, please highlight Charu.
The symbol Om. Om is acclaimed as the most powerful word symbol of Brahman, the supreme reality God. It is known as Pranava. Pranava means that which pervades life. Om is used in meditation by spiritual seekers. Brahman is the ultimate goal a human being can aspire to reach. One cannot reach it directly through the body, mind, or intellect. Brahman is not something that your sense organs can perceive, nor is it an emotion your mind can feel, nor a thought your intellect can conceive. It remains unknown. Most people need a known idol to reach an unknown idol. Some need a gross idol with a form, a stone, metal, or any solid substance. Others can do with a subtler form like fire. Thus, fire has been a common idol of worship in many religions. The subtlest idol is sound. It is considered subtlest since only one of the 5 sense organs, ear, can contact it. And of all sounds, Om is acclaimed the most natural, most potent. There are reasons for the choice. First, sound can be classified under 2 categories, inarticulate and articulate. Inarticulate sound, also known as intonational, deals with feelings, emotion of the mind, concerns the heart. Whereas the articulate sound, also known as alphabetical, can be recited in the letters of the alphabet. It deals with knowledge, understanding by the intellect. concerns the head. However, articulate sound has a limited application. It can be transacted only by those who have gone through the particular training, learned that language. Imagine a Persian meeting a Russian. One tries to communicate to the other in one's language. Neither of them understands the other. But when one laughs or cries, the other instantly knows he is happy or unhappy. Such communication is inarticulate, intonational, a universal way by which even babies and animals can communicate. Music is another example of intonation. The sound of music has a positive effect on beings. It produces great results. The symbol Om has the distinction of being both articulate and inarticulate, alphabetical and intonational. It has a deep philosophical significance, while the chant of Om has an extraordinary effect on human beings. The two aspects together help an individual attune with the eternal being. Second, Om is constituted of three sounds, three letters, A, U, U, and M, M. In Sanskrit grammar, A and U coalesce to form O. Thus, A, U, M together is pronounced as Om. Even the mute can produce the sound of Om. A is a guttural sound. It emanates from the throat. There is no sound below the throat. U is the sound produced when it courses through the mouth, and M is when it ends, when the lips close. There is no sound beyond that. Thus, Om covers a full range of sound, represents the entire phenomenon of sound. The chant of Om produces peace and harmony around.
Number 3. Om symbolizes the pure consciousness, the consciousness that pervades the waking, dream, and deep sleep states. A represents the world experienced in the waking state of consciousness, while U represents the world of the dream state of consciousness, and M, the nothingness of the deep sleep state of consciousness. While chanting Om, the meditator must focus his concentration on that pure consciousness, the Supreme Self that supports the three states all through life. Fourth, the mantra word symbol Om does not belong to any religion. It is merely a symbol of the ultimate reality. It represents the pure consciousness, the Supreme God. It is nature's word, not subject to conjugation, inflection, or grammatical manipulation as other words are. Om occupies a very special place with reference to God. God is said to be omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. These words begin with Om. Even prayers in different languages end with Amen, Amin, which again is a reference to Om. In the practice of meditation, the mind chants the mantra Om. Between every two successive chants, there is a momentary silence. That silence is known as a matra. The intellect discriminates between sound and silence, between mantra and amatra. As long as the chant lasts, there is thought flow, which establishes the presence of the mind. And with thoughts flowing, the pair of thought and silence exists for the intellect to continue operating. In the peak of meditation, the chant ends in silence. The thought flow ceases, the mind becomes extinct. There is no longer the pair of thought and silence. Consequently, the intellect ceases. Thus, the meditator transcends both the mind and intellect. His individual self merges with the Supreme Self, gains spiritual enlightenment.
Perfect. So you can read that reference, whatever they read out just now. So I repeat, Vedanta Treatise, The Eternities, is a book written by Swamiji. So in that chapter 14 is called meditation. And in that chapter, there's a topic called Om. So if you read that, it will help you to understand the concept of Om. So therefore he says, I am the Japayajna of Yajna, meaning in meditation, why to chant Om? So it is the most sacred, the most advanced chant, because a seeker has dissolved all his desires through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and has reached a point of single pointed meditation. So that chanting in meditation is called as Japa Yajna. The rest he explained just now. So let's conclude for today with this. Any quick question before we conclude? All right, so have a wonderful weekend and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Amiji.
you,
Amiji.
Thank you, Amit ji.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amiji.
Hari Om.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you.